Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Demo 1000 Day Challenge. This is day 550, so let's get things started. Alright, so first and foremost, there's a couple of updates I really want to go through, but because it's nearing towards the end of the day, I didn't have time to update. So in the equity balance, I did have a significant loss for the main trading account setup. So even though I did went for a short, and it fulfills the criteria, it actually triggered a stop loss for both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also in terms of Link itself. So partial loss taken in terms of that. Otherwise, experimental setup, like what I mentioned yesterday, I did have another loss. So right now, because of Chinese New Year, I have been a little bit out of home in that sense. So I didn't have much time to update the equity balance itself. So once again, I'll update about this, but it's just probably a loss around $10 to $20 each. All right, so other than that, if you look across the market itself, on the US market, things definitely have a very strong bounce yesterday itself, especially for S&P 500. You can see that we strongly break above the 200-day simple moving average, and right now we are facing some resistance at the 150-day simple moving average on the daily chart itself. So yep, you can see over here. And this also happens to the previous resistance, then support, and now it's turning into resistance again. So potentially we could have some sort of a retracement to even retest this 200-day exponential, a simple moving average or exponential moving average region. And if support is being found and then we can break above, there will be a very much more clear confirmation of a reversal back to a bullish continuation trend in that perspective. On the other hand, for Nasdaq, we do have a very clear rejection of the 200-day exponential moving average. So not to say that it's going to be definitely rejected, but right now it does look to be some form of rejection. So we do consolidate right below here, there is still potential for it to break towards the upside, in which case the key resistance to look into will definitely be at the 15.7K region itself, and there'll be a key horizontal resistance region itself. So for HHR on the bright side, we definitely do find some support or the key support region over here. Horizontal support, like what I mentioned, is very key that we hold support above that. If we do break strongly above that or even find ourselves 1 or 2 days in that region, below that region itself, it will definitely be a very bad bearish sign in that same sense. And for KBAC itself, similarly, is extremely critical, even though we have a very decent bounce yesterday. Once again, it is above the 20 exponential moving average. Do bear in mind that we are still forming lower highs in that sense for 3 consecutive highs, or this is not yet confirmed to be a lower high in that sense, but definitely got a high, a lower high, and this is a very much potential lower high as well. So definitely not a good sign, and we are still forming lower low in this perspective. So definitely we want it to break this kind of a lower high and lower low formation for a very much more confirmation of a reversal in terms of a trend, especially for KREP itself. But until that is being established itself, I'll be staying clear of the market and just holding on to the current position I have, and I'll not be adding any more like what I mentioned. All right, and finally for Bitcoin itself, we seem to have a very slow and steady climb, which is technically not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but I do lean towards further bearish momentum right now, simply because the climb has been rather weak and volume-wise has been dwindling, so it looks to be some sort of a consolidation pattern. And if you just look in terms of that, it looks a very nice, somewhat like a bear flag formation, because we came down here with a very big retracement pullback, and very much the key resistance I'm looking at is actually the close of today or even tomorrow itself. So a retest of this 20 exponential moving average on the daily chart, which is currently right now at 39.3K region, subjected to change because it's still subjected to change of today candlestick itself. And it would then be a very clear sign of what you have over here. So do bear in mind, it doesn't have to touch it exactly. Even today, candlestick itself could perhaps be a confirmation, especially with a red engulfing candlestick itself. But until that has taken place, I will still be staying a little bit cautious to look for a short setup at the moment itself. So on the 4-hour chart, you do see some sort of indecision over here. There's been 2 attempts to break over this high, which was at 38.9K region itself. So if we can successfully break above that, which is closing above the 39K mark itself and staying above that for at least 4 to even 1 day itself, so perhaps like 6 candlestick, that will be a very much needed relief rally that Bitcoin could have towards the upside of things, especially when we are building right below the resistance, which I want to mention is the 40K region itself. And they'll be very key, especially we've got this downslope trending 200 period moving average on the 4-hourly chart itself that looks to be flatlining. So typically when moving averages does flatline, that shows 2 things. One is basically the lack of selling pressure and momentum in the particular direction, in which case right now is the bearish momentum itself. So we are sort of flatlining it for a while, which is a potential that we could have a reversal in terms of a 4-hour trend in that sense. So yep, that's basically about it. I do still look for potential short if there's any fulfilling the criteria, but I'm cautiously staying out of the market in terms of 4 hour and 1 hour chart, simply because right now it still looks a little bit flat and I'm not looking so much into the market for the past few days for day trading opportunities. But there definitely could be much more opportunity if we are looking into it on a shorter time frame basis. On a 4 hour on the daily chart, I don't see much, at least for Bitcoin, Ethereum in this perspective. Otherwise, that's more or less about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below, or I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.